Hi guys and welcome back. In this lesson we're going to discuss and see how to add a feed of the snapshots that we create to our homepage. So here we are here now on our homepage, and in a later lesson we'll add the ability to add the snapshots of those we follow to our feed, allowing us to see feedback within our homepage. Each user will have a feed, so we'll create a feed method in the user model. As just mentioned, this will for the moment only show snapshots of the current user, but later on we'll show snapshots from all users who leave us a piece of feedback. To create this feed, we'll use the where method on snapshots. Let's jump into our code editor and go to App Models, left hand side, App Models, User. Now line 15, hit enter a couple of times, def feed snapshot capital S dot where user underscore ID, that's a plus, ID equals comma ID end. The question mark in the code we've just written ensures that the ID is properly escaped before including the underlying SQL query. This helps us to avoid creating a serious security flaw known as SQL injection. In this instance, the ID attribute is an integer, so there is no risk of SQL injection for it, but it's best practice to escape variables injected into SQL statements as we have just done. So what will this piece of code that we've just written do? Well, it'll pull out snapshots matching a user ID. To implement the feed in our Orbit application, we need to add an item at feed items instance variable for the current user's feed. We can then add a status feed partial to the home page. So let's now go to controllers HTML pages controller. So left hand side, actually I still have it open from a previous lesson, HTML pages controller. Now we're working on the home action. So if a user is logged in, if logged in, don't forget your question mark at the end. Now add in a couple of spaces here. At feed underscore items equals current user dot feed dot paginate page colon space params square brackets colon page. So we're paginating here the feed that will show on the home page. End, and now save. Now let's create the status feed partial in our shared folder. So over here in the left hand side, within views, shared, new file, underscore feed .html.e/b. And in here, start off with Ruby if feed items any, so if there are any feed items, we're going to do the following. We're going to put it in a list. Now we're going to render the feed items. Close out our Ruby code there. Close out our ordered list, OL. There we go. Then we need to add in pagination. Will underscore paginate feed items. Again, close our Ruby tag and add in an end Ruby statement. Perfect, save that. Now we can add the feed to the home page by rendering the feed partial as we would normally do. So HTML pages, home, here we are. And where do we want to insert this? Well, here from lines 3, let me scroll up there a little bit. So here from lines 3 to lines 13 or 14, we have our left hand side user profile and snapshot form. Then if a user is logged out, we have the messaging and graphics that they would see. So welcome to Orbit and information about the Orbit application. So we want our feed to appear alongside here. So alongside our user profile and the form to create a snapshot. So we want to appear here on the right hand side. So let's add it in directly after the left hand column. So where we have a side here on line 12, hit enter, div. So the class is call-md, we've seen this before, -8, h3, snapshot, feed. Our h3 tags automatically close for us. And what are we rendering? Well, we just created our feed, so render shared, that's where all our shared partials are, feed. Close out our Ruby. We have our closing div there. Let me just get rid of that space. Perfect. So creating a new snapshot now works. However, there is one problem, and if you play around with the application, see if you can figure it out and leave a message in the community forum or in the Q&A section. So let's jump into our application here and do a refresh. There we go, look at that. Our snapshot feed is now on our home page. So view my profile, we just have our snapshots, but go back to the home page, we'll create a new snapshot. So let's say, well done today. Well done, yeah, well done today at the meeting. Smiley face, post. Snapshot created, and there it is there. Look at that, directly onto our feed. So see if you can identify the problem and leave a message. If you can't wait to figure it out, what is the problem? Currently, a failed snapshot submission on the home page breaks our application. And this is because the home page expects the instance variable feed items. To fix the problem, we need to create the required feed variable in the snapshots controller. So go to app controllers snapshots controller. So where's that? Here we are, controllers snapshots controller. And in the create action, after else, hit enter. You can leave the render statement in there, but hit enter and say at feed underscore items equals current user dot feed dot paginate brackets page colon params square brackets colon page. So again, we're paginating within the snapshots controller, or the create action of the snapshots controller, I should say. Now, due to a routing error, pagination is still not working, but we can fix this by giving will paginate controller and action parameters matching the home page. So how do we do that? Well, go to app views shared. So app views shared, here I am here. Go to our feed partial. And here on line 5, will paginate, we need to add in some params. Curly brackets controller colon space colon HTML underscore pages action colon space colon home. Okay, that should do it. And the reason we need to do this again is because our feed partial needs matching parameters that the home page has. So if you go to the HTML pages controller and home action, the parameters need to be the same within the feed partial that we've just done now. Okay, let's jump back to our application. So as you can see here, if I scroll down the end, pagination is here and it doesn't work. But if I restart the server now, it should be working. Let's restart and I'll be back in a moment. So here we are now, I've restarted my server. But as I look up, I see that params has a comma, it shouldn't. So will paginate feed items, params should have a colon, not a comma. There we go. Back into our application, refresh. Here we are. Pagination should be working, and it is. Perfect. Okay guys, that's it for this lesson. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next where we'll see how to delete snapshots. See you there.